Hello, and this is the podcast with Zach. I'm joined by my host, Zach, and our lovely guest, Miss Amador.
Hi.
Welcome.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
Of course. So, today we just wanted to ask you a few questions about teaching, some about teaching, some more just like personality questions. First off, what is your favorite book of all time? And if you could give us a few and explain why.
So cliche or not, my favorite book is actually Frankenstein, which you guys probably know.
Yeah.
I just think that literally changed the game of literature. It invented a genre. It echoes throughout our society today. And it's honestly just really fun to teach. It was the first book that I taught as a TA in college, so it has like that special place. But as far as modern books, The Song of Achilles is written beautifully. It's an amazing retelling of Patroclus and Achilles. So that's just something that's really unique. It's like really lyrical. So I would say that's like one of my modern favorites. Everything that I read on my own is kind of like candy, like psychological thriller. So like nothing that I'm proud that I read. But Frankenstein is always it. That's always my favorite.
It was a nice book to read last year.
Yeah, I found it
liked
pretty entertaining.
Even though people didn't like it, I liked it. It was pretty cool.
I think it's one of those books that it's like better to talk about than to sit down and read. I think once
Yeah.
people start talking about it, then you like it. But
Agreed. Yeah.
I agree with that. Are there any hobbies that you have outside of teaching that you enjoy?
I read for fun.
Yeah.
But other than that, I do run. I run a lot. I run like 3 or 4 times a week. I listen to audiobooks when I run, so that's kind of how I get like both my hobbies together. I've also tried to teach myself how to crochet and how to knit, and I'm just really bad at that. But yeah, pretty much everything I do just like revolves around reading, basically. And I used to write poetry a little bit too during COVID. That was something that I did and like got published a couple of times. But that's like one of the things that like I obviously don't miss COVID, but like during lockdown it was fun. I feel like people tried a lot of like different creative stuff and I was able to do that.
That sounds really Next question. What do you like most about teaching and why?
My students, honestly. You guys are what make it fun. I don't think I could have a job where I was sitting around and doing something the same every day. I don't think I'm made for like office life or like cubicle life or anything like that.
Understandable.
And I think teaching is one of the few professions that you can share your passion for what you're interested in. And I'm lucky enough that year after year I get to teach what I love. So it's just, honestly, it's fun. It's something new every day, whether it's good new or like scary new. It's just always fun.
Yeah. What made you want to become a teacher?
It was a rough road getting here, actually. I think I probably mentioned to you guys how I was originally a marine bio major when I was in college. And I thought I was going to be a vet. I really, really wanted to continue saving the manatees. And then I realized I was literally crying during my organic chemistry class. And the only time that I was happy was in my literature classes that I took for fun my freshman year. So I was initially desiring to go into publishing. I was really into publishing and editing. I had this idea of like working in the city and like editing books. And then one of my professors asked me if I wanted to be a TA. That's when I started teaching Frankenstein. And I realized that I just loved the act of teaching. So it wasn't really until I was like 20, 21 that I realized I wanted to be a teacher and like not go into editing or like saving the whales.
Mm-hmm.
Still want to save the whales, but...
Of course, everyone should save the whales.
Exactly,
obviously.
exactly.
But, what is your favorite subject to teach / that you have taught and why? So I guess just like your favorite topic, essentially, like a
Probably Frankenstein.
You know what? No, I'm not going to go with Frankenstein. I'm also not going to go with Shakespeare because I feel like that's too obvious. With you guys, the unit we just finished is called like Cultures of Colonialism, where we did that cultural study. I actually really enjoyed teaching that because we're able to look at all different cultural perspectives. In upcoming classes, we're going to apply it to more modern representations of different cultures and stuff. So I really like blending like sociology and psych, and like that unit lets me do that. So that unit was a fun one this year.
Yeah, I'm glad you enjoyed it.
Because you didn't.
The book was
Just the book was
it was okay. The ending
me.
was so anticlimactic.
Yeah.
I was reading it. It was like he just dies,
Um,
and then the book ended, and it's just like that. Like the next page just ends.
yeah.
Pretty
yeah.
good book other than that, though.
Yeah, it wasn't bad. I've read worse.
All right, that's good. That's what I'm going for.
How do you think your life would be if you chose like a different major, like marine biology or whatever?
I honestly think I would have been bored. I think that no matter what, this is something that I would have always come back to. So whether it was like teaching in like that capacity of eventually like being a bio teacher or just teaching about conservation and stuff like that, I think what I really love is human connection. So I think that no matter what, I would try to like get that human connection in some way. I would probably just like wear like less turtlenecks and like less sweater vests and stuff, but
This next one should be a little interesting. How has teaching changed since you started?
oh my God, I sound like such an old person, but the technology, when I started 12 years ago, nobody had Chromebooks. So
Yeah.
there wasn't that temptation of like going on your Chromebook or, you know, AI is a huge issue. So that just wasn't a thing. If my students were cheating, they were looking stuff up on Spark Notes and at least reading something that was like somewhat legitimate. So that's really changed, but something that's actually changed for the better, and I know you guys probably hate this, but the phone caddies got you all talking to each other. Usually at the end of the class period, before you put your phones in the back, you guys would just take out your phones and sit quietly. Now I hear you guys chatting and just like, that's the stuff that's coming back around, and that's the stuff that's really cool. But I mean, AI has been a huge hurdle, and I think that's like an existential problem that eventually the bubble's gonna pop and we're gonna have to deal with it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, agreed.
Is there any advice you'd like to give any students here at CGHS?
I think try everything. I think that a lot of the times we put a lot of pressure on our students to decide, what do you want to do next? What are your academic strengths? How can you turn that into a career? I think that it's important to still remember that when you're in high school, you're trying stuff out. So while taking all of these subject-specific heavy AP classes is important, I think what's more important is just figuring out what you guys like. You guys are so little, you guys are still kids. There's so much that you can find out about yourselves. And I think that one of the things that has changed is just this pressure that all of you feel to like have it figured out by the time you're sophomores. And I think, you know, take the challenging classes, but try to branch out. And I think that that's kind of invaluable.
I think that's good advice.
Yeah,
I'm still trying to figure out what I'm trying to do after high school anyways, so.
I was in college and I was still figuring it out.
Yeah.
Like, it happens. Most people are going to change their major. Like, you might end up in a podcast room somehow at your job. But like, I think that figuring it out is like part of the beauty of all of this. So no need to have it all figured out yet.
We appreciate you answering the questions.
that's
We
about it for the
also
questions.
wanted to say something that we appreciate about like your teaching in general and having you the last 2 years. I appreciate how passionate you are like about all the topics you talk about, especially Frankenstein.
Thank
Like,
you.
love that a lot. And like you said about the one we're doing right now with colonialism, seem to like know a lot about it, even though it's not like a history class.
Thanks. Thank
you make
guys.
English exciting to learn. Your energetic like personality makes it so it feels like class goes by quicker and the subjects
Good.
stick easier. And yeah, it's I like having you as a teacher.
All right,
You're a
good.
really great
Thank
teacher.
you. It's been a great 2 years so far. So thank you guys. I really
Of course,
appreciate
yeah.
that.
Thank you for everything
Thank
you've
you.
done.
Thank you.
But that's all the time we have. So thank you so much for watching, and
Thank
see
you, Miss Amador.
Thank you, Miss Amador.
Thanks, guys.